Hello and happy Friday, everybody. My name is Matt with Beacon Software, and in today's Feature Friday, we're going to be talking about commissions, so stay tuned. All right, welcome back. All right, so today's Feature Friday is going to concentrate on commissions today. So we can do commissions a couple different ways in our software. We can do it per job. We could also do it paid per percentage. If you pay after hours, the system can also configure that and figure it out for you. So what we'll do, we're going to take you through the setup process, how to set up your drivers, and then we'll take a look at some examples in Dispatch Anywhere and show you how to basically post your commissions and then finally just run your reports to get your data here. So what we're going to do, let's go ahead and switch over. All right, so I already have my settings page pulled up here. Now I know I'm going to get some questions on this. There is a setting to change all of Chrome's websites to dark mode. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to go ahead and leave a link in the description below. Just know that depending on some of the pages, it may look funny, but there is a plugin for that. So I'm going to go ahead and log in here. All right, so once you're logged into your settings, there's a couple things you have to do first. So if we start with our services, now this is the list of services that the program knows, and you need to basically tell it which services you want to pay commission on. So if I clicked on admin fees, for example, I have a commissionable checkbox here. So if this is a service I pay commission on, I need to check it. If it's not something we pay commission on, typically things like storage, admin fees, things like that, you want to make sure that those are unchecked. So step one would be going through all of your services and marking the services that you want to pay commission on as commissionable or not. Now, when I check one here and I hit save, it does ask me, do I want to add this service to my commission list, yes or no? So if you've already set up your commission lists and you're adding new services to it, you definitely want to hit yes. If it's not a service you want to add, hit no. Typically, if a service is commissionable, you're going to go ahead and hit yes. If it's not, then no. In this case, I'm going to hit yes. Right? So that adds my service to my commission list. Right? That's down here on the left-hand side, commission lists. This is where I actually make my commission lists. Now in my test database, you can see that we have a bunch of different ones for testing purposes, but let's go ahead and make a brand new one. I'm going to hit add at the top up here. Right? Now what this is doing, every service that I marked as commissionable in my services section over here, it added it automatically to my list. All right, so I can call this new commission stream. All right. Now in my default rate, I can set this as what my percentage may be or my dollar amount. So if I'm paying, let's say 25% to my drivers, I'm gonna make sure we put our percentage, I can apply this to all of my services at the same time. All right. Now let's just say maybe I pay 25% on all the services, but maybe on deadhead miles, I only pay 15%. Well, that service, I can go into it specifically and change the percentage to 15%. We could also do things like if I had maybe GeoWays and I only pay maybe a flat fee, maybe $7, something like that. I could go to that service and change it specifically. So it does give you some customized options to do your commissions, but if it is a flat rate across the board, you can just put the default rate and be done there. All right, so we'll go ahead and save this. All right, so it saves my commission list in my list here. And then the next part is I need to tell it which drivers get this commission. Now you could have multiple commissions. Maybe I have a 20%, a 25%, and maybe a 30% commission. Well, I can apply different commission structures to different drivers. Right? So if I go up to assign driver here, it will show me all my drivers in my system. So if we scroll down to me, I got a couple of them here. This is looking at Matt commission. I can tell it now to use my new commission stream one that I just created. So it does allow you to change it per driver. So let's just click, maybe a couple of my test drivers that I have in here and hit save. Right. And that assigned my drivers that commission. And that's one quick way to do it when you're mass assigning your commission lists to your drivers. The other way to do it is from your driver list. Right. So if I go into my driver list and I find myself on the list here, every driver has a commission tab here. All right, and you can see that now it's changed to my new commission stream. What I can do here, I can also set up rate adjustments and time templates. Now what that is let's just say maybe I got a raise and I'm going to automatically now get 30%. I can absolutely make a 30% commission structure if I want to, or I can do a rate adjustment. Let's say 5%. So it's going to add 5% to my existing list, right? So everything would be 30%. In this case though, now my deadhead miles is 20%, right? So it's a quick way, maybe you're doing a bonus for that pay period. The rate adjustments are great for that. We could also do time templates. Now what time templates are going to be used for is typically for after hours commissions. So maybe my drivers get after hours commissions, maybe they're only after hours commission, or maybe they're 25% during the day, but after hours they're 15%, an extra 15%. We can do that with a time template. So that's where these adjustments come in, right down here on the left-hand side. So we'll take a look at that very quickly. Can't leave on that. Let's look at the MAT time adjustment. All right, so the way that this works, you need to cover every hour of the day. So I have a schedule Monday through Friday, and then a Saturday, Sunday. Right, so I start at midnight till 8 a.m. If the job is taken between that time, it's going to add an extra 10%. The job is taken Monday through Friday between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. There's no adjustment. So in our example, I would just get the 25%. And then anytime from basically 6 p.m. until 11:59, I get an extra 10%. Right? Now, if it's Saturday or Sunday, basically this is all day from midnight until 11:59, I get an extra 50% based on this time adjustment. And then again, Sunday night, it rolls back into Monday through Friday, and it kind of continues this schedule. So it does allow you to pay commission after hours if you want to. You just have to set up your times when you're paying commission and what the rate adjustment may be. All right. Just make sure, back to my driver, that on your commission screen that your driver actually has a time adjustment applied if we're doing this. Right. So that's the basic setup. Marking your services as commissionable, making commission lists, and or possibly making time adjustments if you're potentially paying after hours commissions. So pretty simple setup with that. You could also do this with flat rates. So maybe I pay a flat $20 per maybe a battery test. I don't have to put a percentage here. I could just do a flat $20 and keep it that way as well. So it does allow you to do whole dollar amounts or percentages, depending on how your company runs their business. So we now have that set up. All right, we'll do a quick save on it. Now we're going to go ahead and bring up our Dispatch Anywhere. Maximize this. All right, we'll go ahead and log in. All right, so now that we're logged into the system here, all right, we want to go over to our accounting tab, which is the third one over. Now, you're still going to have to post your jobs and create the invoices for them. If you have questions on how to do that, you can go ahead and take a look at one of our previous videos on accounting. I went over how to post all your calls properly and verify them. We're going to want to go over here to calculate commissions. Now, the first thing you're going to do in your commissions, you're going to set your filter. So if you're paying, if you're paying for a certain date range, you're going to set the date range for the period that you're paying. But I could also filter, today, yesterday, this week, whatever. I'm going to go ahead and do this month, and I'm going to pick me as my driver. Now, if I don't pick a driver, I can bring in everybody if I need to. We've also recently added some filters here for only invoices that are paid in full. So if your company only pays on paid invoices, this is a great solution for that. We can do only commissionable services. So normally this list is going to bring in every service, whether they're commissionable or not. If you only want to see the ones that are commissionable, that's what this setting does. And this is the new one that we've added, which includes unposted services. This is going to be important for companies that pay on typically impounded vehicles at the time that they're brought in, not necessarily the time that they're released. By default, the system will pay on impounded vehicles that are released from the software. If you pay your drivers at the time that they did the service, you're going to want to include those unposted services on this screen. All right. So I'm going to hit search here. All right. So I have two calls here that I did, one for Nick's Auto Body, one for Kyle's Auto, and we can see my 25% here. Now I can open this up just like my posting screen or my create invoice screen, just to see all the services. This gives you a chance to double check this, just to make sure everything is correct before actually paying your driver. So if we look at this, I can see that the tow was paid at 25%, so this $9.50. You know, I didn't make any revenue on my in-route or mileage, so, you know, I'm obviously not going to pay my driver. Same thing with this Kyle auto call. Now, I did make a little bit of money on my mileage and en-route, so it calculated my 25%. You could also potentially adjust this here if you need to. So let's say I want to pay, you know, 30% on this call. I can go ahead and do that, and then it would automatically bump this up. I could also do a dollar amount, so if I want to cap it for some reason, I can just do $100 and it would drop it to, in this case, 20%. So you have the option of either changing your percentage or your dollar amounts on the screen. So let's assume everything on here is correct. I'm going to go ahead and select these calls. I'm going to save and pay it now. Now what this is asking for is, what is your pay date? So if I'm paying my drivers, you know, next Friday the 12th, I'll click the 12th and hit OK. What happens now is those jobs get pushed to the 12th pay date, and that date's going to be important because this is the date that we're going to use when we run our report. Right? So we're going to go over to our report section. Now, if you've set it up as a favorite, it may be here. By default, it's going to be an accounting report. Right? And we have two different reports, a commission detail and a commission summary. Let's start with the detail. On the detail report, your pay date from and to normally is just going to be your pay date. So if your pay date is the 12th, I'm going to pick the 12th to the 12th. If you're trying to span a multiple pay dates, you can choose a date range here, but normally you just pick whatever your pay date is. So in our example, I picked the 12th. I'm going to hit run report. Now I'm the only driver that we did in this example, so it should only pull my data, which it does. But normally if you have multiple drivers, it's going to pull all of them. Now a detail report is going to show what you brought in within revenue and what we're paying the driver in commission. Normally this is an internal report for you, unless you want to show the drivers what you're making on your calls. But it more or less is the same screen that we just looked at on that commission screen where we checked over our calls. It does break down each service, you know, the dollar amount that we're paying, and then the percentage again. And we can see the one that I adjusted manually here. I go back to my reports. I have a summary report. Summary report's going to be a good report for the drivers. All right, I'll show you why. Let's run it for the 12th again. So we're going to pick my pay date, run report. This is going to be a good report for the drivers because it only shows what they made in commission on those calls. So here's my two calls again, the 950 and the 125.25 that I made on here. So it's a great way to be able to just list all the jobs that the drivers have done without showing them what you made on the call. This does automatic page breaks for you as well. So if you print this out, you know, my calls may be page 1 and 2. It does the page break and starts the next driver on the next full page. The only thing to note on this, on the last page, it does do a report total. So this is the commission that was paid to all the drivers. Just your last driver, whoever it happens to be, just make sure you grab this page unless you want to give that to the last driver on your report. Okay, so we'll close that. The only other thing I want to cover on this training is how to split commissions for drivers. So when you have multiple drivers on a call, let's go to our create invoice screen. So normally you're going to do that on this screen. You could technically do it at any point, but normally you're going to catch it here on your create invoice screen. So let's get a call here. Let's do this week. All right, so we got this Beacon Building call. If I had multiple drivers on this, under my dispatch tab, it would show additional drivers here. But let's just say I want to split this. Let's say the private property, let's say I had two of those. Let's say private property impound. Let's say I had a driver and I need to give driver A this service and then driver B this service. If you click the little pencil icon here on the commission tab, I can tell basically the system this. So let's say this was me here. I'm going to tell this service, so in this case the 125, to pay me. I can put the dollar amount here if I want to. I can also manually put the pay date. If I skip these, it's going to show on my commission screen later on. All right. But when you do that, it's going to give you a little icon here indicating that this service is being paid differently than who my original driver was. Now, in this instance, Sasha was also the other driver. So let's just say on this service, I want to give Sasha this one. I could absolutely mark Sasha on that one as well. So now Sasha would get paid for this service. I would get paid for this service. So it's a great way to split services. So you maybe had a wreck and you're billing out each driver for the labor that they've done, and you have a line item for that, you can split line items for each driver and pay each driver on the call, not necessarily the entire call, but per service. So it's a quick way to split commissions if we need to on our calls, simply by going into the call and marking the driver. All right. Let's save on that. We'll stop it over here as well. So here's another just tool that we include here. When you're posting your calls, you're automatically always going to get a red exclamation point on your calls if you have more than one driver on it. So it's another way, so who's ever posting your calls, to stop, potentially go into the call and fix it right away before it even gets to your commission screen. So with that being said, that's going to wrap up this commission training here on the software. If you do have any questions or run into any problems with it, please reach out to us. Our support's available Monday through Friday from 9 till 6. You could also always email me or set up an additional training if you have some additional questions, or maybe your commission is just a little bit more advanced or technical. We can definitely go through a training and I can show you, everything we need to do to set that up as well. I want to thank you if you made it to the end of this video today. And again, if you have any questions, give us a call. We will see you in the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye.